Alright, we're going to talk about the chromatic scale and just using it as a warm-up exercise when you're picking, and a technical exercise. So, the way it works, chromatic means half steps, so we're just moving up in half steps. And so what happens when you start on your E here, you go E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp. And you kind of end up with this spread with your fingers like this. You want to remain in that position as much as possible. You end up walking up all the strings like that. So we're just hitting every half step. Now when we get here, don't use fourth finger, just hit the open B here. The reason being because our tuning here from G to B is a third, so this is our B on the fourth fret here, same as open string. So instead of on those other strings where we have another half step, we'll just go from third finger to the open B. Now, you can do this exercise a couple different ways. One thing you want to do is play it really slowly and as legato as possible. So we don't want to have a sound like this. Have it really smooth. Every note runs into the next note. No gap between the sound whatsoever. Now this is really tricky to do because this is what we call synchronization, where you're syncing up both hands working together. So when I pluck the sixth string, and we're also, I should mention too, alternate picking. We're going down, up, with our right hand. When we go down, as soon as our first finger comes to that F, our pick is going to come up. They want to be synced up exactly together. If they're not, we end up with sounds like that. If the pick comes first before the note's ready, we'll end up with a dead note. If the finger comes before the pick, it'll stop the sound. So we want to sync up both hands very, very evenly. So one thing is just go through very slowly. Listen to that sound. Make sure there's no gap. So that's what you want to pay attention to, is that synchronization of both hands. Now, when we're ascending, you can see my hand stays in that position for the most part. Kind of anticipate everything that's coming. Now, when we're descending, it's a little trickier. If you watch my fingers here, they're going right above the second string after I play the first string. So they're ready to just come down on that second string. A lot of times the tendency at first is to do this. And if you think about it, if our finger comes all the way out here, it has to come all the way back to play the second string. So the next place that this fourth finger is going to play is there. So we want to keep that in mind and anticipate for each finger the next place it's going. This takes some time to get used to. But once you do, your fingers will work much more efficiently, much more accurately. The sound is smoother. Everything all together is great. So keeping all those things in mind, once you start getting the chromatic scale down, there's a couple different ways to practice it. I'll usually do what I call 4-2-1, where I play each note 4 times. So I'll go. And I'll go all the way up and back down, playing each note 4 times. with my right hand, I'm going down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, alternate picking. So that's the 4. The 2 times each note. You know, all the way up, all the way back down. Then once I get there, I do each note 1 time. That's what I call the 4-2-1. Plays, you know, 4 times, 2 times, and then 1 time. And that is our chromatic scale.